We've been telling you about multiple incidents at buildings here in St. Jamestown, fires that have displaced residents, flooding, and tenants not having adequate access to utilities for days. Well, the city tells us it spent millions of dollars responding to these emergencies. But some tenants tell us that because of what's happened the last 6 months or so, companies have been denying renters insurance to some tenants living in some of the St. Jamestown towers.
Nobody wants to take us up on insurance. It's a little scary and unsettling.
Ada wants to remain anonymous. She lives on one of the higher floors of 260 Wellesley Street East. During the basement flood in January, she says her insurance company wouldn't accept her claim for hotel reimbursement because an evacuation wasn't ordered and she wasn't covered. And that forced her to shop around for a new policy, but with no luck.
For a lot of us, we've been having issues where if our renewal dates have come up, we've gotten a much higher rate. They flatly said they don't want to insure the building, that it's either too risky or that they don't provide service for us.
Multiple tenants have told us the same. At a community meeting updating St. Jamestown residents last night, Area Councillor Kristen Wong-Tam said these buildings have been neglected, and her office has also been receiving calls about tenants having difficulty getting and renewing coverage.
No insurance will insure these buildings for the tenants right now, and that's perhaps because they know that the city is number one inspecting, but also the fact that the outcome of these inspections is that they're very poorly maintained. They have been neglected for a number of years.
Since August, Wellesley Parliament Square has had a fire at 650 Parliament that has displaced 1,500 residents and experienced multiple other issues at their other towers. The company maintains that these issues are all coincidental, with the spokesperson adding they have not heard about the insurance issues.
Certainly I couldn't comment on a suggested reaction of insurers. I've not heard that. We strongly recommend, certainly on all our leases, we ask tenants to have tenant insurance in place.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada tells City News because of the incidents that have occurred at these towers and the multiple claims filed by displaced residents, these are most likely high-risk buildings.
It isn't a situation where insurance companies are willing to write additional policies because the likelihood is that many of these people may see a claim.
Does reputation play a role down the line if tenants want to get rent insurance, let's say 2 years later?
No, not at all. As long as the repairs have been done and the property's been restored, there isn't typically an issue. Insurance companies are going to be hesitant if it is not a situation of if something's going to happen, but when the next event happens.
And we've been also telling you about the inspections that have been taking place at these buildings the last few weeks. Most recently at 240 Wellesley, that was done yesterday. We're being told that heat power has been restored to that building. And some of these towers are also under a fire watch. So we did ask the landlord for an update on when this advisory will be lifted. They tell us 2 to 3 days for 280 Wellesley Street East, but no date has been given for 260 Wellesley Street East, which is right behind me. As they say, more work needs to be done following the damage that came after that flood.